10 life skills you should have before you turn age 30. I remember turning 30 and saying to myself, now being matured is no longer a choice but a necessity. You see, by the time you're 30, you will be exempted from many opportunities. By virtue of your age, you will be disqualified from many jobs, internships, fellowships, and even scholarship opportunities. You're expected to have developed certain skills and experience. So, the society expects you to step back for the younger ones. You're left with the skills and experiences you have developed to push through life. Don't get caught unawares. Here are 10 life skills you should have before you turn age 30. If you're new to After School Africa, you are welcome. Consider subscribing to continue exploring opportunities. 1. Coping with uncertainty. You might think that as you get older, the chaos of your life will go away and you'll get to live with more uncertainty about the future. Maybe a little, but uncertainty never goes away, so you should expect that you will never have anything entirely figured out. For instance, you may think you have figured out parenting from observing what you thought your parents could have done better. You'll be in for a shocker when you start raising your own kids. It's near impossible to plan where you'll be in a few years. How to manage uncontrollable situations is a top skill you need before you turn 30. 2. Communicating effectively. You've been using words since you were a toddler, but that doesn't mean you'll master the art of communication by the time you turn 30. Most people don't. But don't let yourself enter your third decade without getting a handle on clear, compelling, and effective communication. According to Warren Buffett, one of the best advice he got about communication is that you can always tell someone to go to hell tomorrow. If you feel the urge to tell someone to go to hell, hold it back till tomorrow. In most cases, you'll find that it's not as important as you thought. Ability to communicate and interact effectively is among the most important skills you will have. Look around and notice how the ability to freely and easily talk to people helps those who have already crossed their 20s, and how the lack thereof makes things unnecessarily difficult for some. No matter how knowledgeable you are, people are not going to take your work seriously unless you know at least the basics of holding up a decent conversation. You should also know how to approach someone in a friendly manner, have a firm handshake, and formally make an acquaintance. 3. Emotional intelligence. It's easy to judge people based on your own definitions of success and a meaningful life without recognizing that everybody has their own definition. Everybody is different and has different pathways to life. Learn to respect that and respect yourself. Develop empathy, which is the ability to put yourself in the other people's shoes. Think about how they will perceive what you are communicating or doing. Without understanding content and perspective, we run the risk of creating problems rather than solving them. Developing emotional intelligence will make working with people a lot easier for you. 4. Asking for what you want. You need to respect others, but you need to respect yourself and your own potential as well. To do that fully, you need to get comfortable asking for the things you want in life. The ability to ask is the easiest, most underutilized skill to catapult your career. The old adage is true: if you don't ask, you don't receive. Many people don't ask to pitch their idea for a promotion, a bigger sales deal, or to take on more responsibility. When this happens or doesn't happen, rather, you are far less likely to find challenge, meaning, and reward in your work. How do you learn to ask? Start small. Try practicing in non-work related contexts. At the farmer's market, you could ask a vendor for a lower price. At home, you could ask your partner to attend dance lessons. On the street, you could ask a stranger, "How are you?" 5. Being resilient. Your 20s is a time when most people are relatively free of the responsibilities that will increase into your 30s and 40s. This is a great time to experiment, fail, and bounce back. Learn how to ride out failure and persevere. Life is full of challenges. The 20s are a great time to toughen up and start teaching yourself how to be emotionally and mentally resilient enough to weather both the joys and hardships to come. No matter how smart, talented, and ambitious you are, things won't always go your way, especially once you left the cocoon of school and your parents' protection. Learn how to cope with setbacks early and they'll discourage you less. 6. Spending your time wisely. You may be fancy-free and footloose in your 20s, but that doesn't mean you should squander the decade. This applies to both time and money. Time is a precious commodity, and you'll start to increasingly realize that into your mid to late 20s. So learn to choose the people and activities you spend your time on carefully. Focus your time and energy on things that will help you to grow and give. 7. Spending your money wisely. It's amazing how many people can do the simplest of things like making sure that there is more coming in than going out and setting aside reserves for contingencies. Making sure that there is more coming in than going out is essentially about adhering to a budget. Learn to anticipate your major costs in the near future, like if you're planning to have a kid or go back to school and start planning towards it. It's also wise to set aside an emergency fund with several months worth of expenses in case the unexpected happens. Being in control of your finances is an important skill you must have well into adulthood. Resource management is a vital skill that will pay off way into your life. 8. Accept feedback gracefully. For most of us, it's hard to hear how we made a mistake or could have done something better. An amazing skill, which you can learn through practice, is to set aside your emotional response in the moment and focus on the information presented to you. Some of it will be valid and some of it invalid, but let your brain decide that, not your ego. This is a skill most people find hard to develop, but according to Ken Blanchard, feedback is the breakfast of champions. If you want to be in the League of Champions, you must learn to accept constructive criticism gracefully. 9. Say no respectfully. Many of us fear saying the word no because we don't want to let other people down. But when you're already swamped and your coworker asks you to take an hour to help him with his project report, yes, of course, might not be the best answer. Saying no when needed can save you a lot of time, confusion, guilt, attachment, commitments, stress, and other social evils. The best way to muster up the confidence to turn down a request is to recognize that there are some things you can never have back. Your time, your health, your virtue, your life. Don't mess around with those things. It's fine for people to ask, and it's just fine for you to say no. 10. Spending more time alone. As an adult, you should be able to spend a full day alone without going crazy for want of social interaction. You can approach being alone with a specific list of things that only you want to do. You may want to go to a word museum, watch a movie, read a book, learn programming, learn a musical instrument, knit, and several other things you can do on your own. If you're planning to live alone, which many people do today, you should accept that you will occasionally feel lonely. It's nothing to be ashamed or upset by. It's important to know how to be at peace with yourself. You'll gain a new sense of confidence. What skills would you add to this list? Tell us in the comment section. Remember to thumb up and share this video with someone who needs to watch this. If you're yet to subscribe to After School Africa, now is a good time to hit the subscribe button. Until next time, your success matters.